Hello and welcome to Coach's Corner. My name is Max Trailer, and I have the absolute pleasure once again of sitting down with Marylou Tyler, author of Predictable Prospecting. The reason we're talking today is because technology is both helping and hurting our ability to hit our sales numbers. And we're doing this amazing webinar with Marylou, a collaborative, private, a roundtable discussion with folks in the industry that live and die by process in their businesses, except when it comes to sales. And at that time, we'll be hearing from sales leaders in various industries about their challenges. But today I get to ask the questions, and I'm so excited to do so. Marylou, first question, what is it you do, and what's up with your book, Predictable Prospecting?
Well, thanks for having me on the show. And my work centers around the top of the funnel, starting conversations with people we don't know and taking them to a qualified opportunity. I leverage process, I leverage technology, and some of the behavioral principles that we all know still exist today, and wrap those all up in a nice tight bow for a consistent process that's repeatable, that we can scale if we want to.
Love it. I'm going to get right into it. So I was doing some research to prepare for this, and Richardson last year actually asked 350 sales professionals what their biggest challenge when prospecting was. And it was funny because the number one answer was kind of a non-answer. It was a lack of a prospecting strategy.
Yeah.
But we were talking the other day, and you had some pretty good insights about what you believe to be the biggest challenge when it comes to filling the sales pipeline in a predictable way. What do you think is the biggest thing challenging prospecting teams today?
I think it's not knowing the relative position in the pipeline, where things are starting to fall apart. Where are they leaking out? Where are they lagging? There's really no consensus or good understanding of taking that position in the pipeline and understanding where your skills are lacking, where your mindset is lacking, or where the process and actual sales conversations that you're having, where you're getting stuck. And so I like to look at it more as, if we're on a freeway, for example, there are mile markers along the freeway. I want to know what's happening at that mile marker and whether we're consistent in the conversion of a conversation to go from that mile marker to the next mile marker, or completely off the freeway, exiting out of the active pipeline. So that's what I think is the biggest issue, that people really can't tell you specifically and succinctly where they're getting stuck in the pipeline.
So we got all these people investing in sales coaching and training and the developing of a sales process. But what you're saying is, even after they implement that process, the problem is they're not looking for which pieces are breaking or which pieces are actually contributing to a sale.
Right. And this could be intra-stage. So within the stage itself, there's advancement. So there could be issues there. And then going from stage to stage, inter-stage, there can be issues there. So we like to wrap metrics around that meaningful conversation that's advancing things forward or advancing things out, in order to help us understand where we should be focusing our effort, what's going to give us the highest impact for the least amount of effort. That's really what we're trying to do.
Highest impact for least amount of effort. Well, my next question is about technology, because the big thing that's happening right now is everyone is, and I think this is the general consensus, at least this is what Accenture found in their Selling in the Age of Distraction report, where over half of sales reps believe they have too much technology, and it's getting worse every year. So my question is, in your experience, how are people leveraging technology to improve their sales performance? But are people also adopting technology in the wrong way, such that it's hurting them?
I believe so. And this has been an age-old problem. This has been the problem that I experienced back when I was a programmer for operating system code. It's that form versus function. The technology is form, but our business processes and how we get from point A to point B is the function. It's like having a gourmet kitchen, but you really only make hamburgers every day. You know, we want to be able to leverage technology where it makes sense and use it for repeatable tasks that lend themselves to mechanization. There is a huge human component still needed for relationship building that sometimes technology hinders rather than helps. So I like to use technology for those particular processes or steps or pieces of the pipeline that naturally lend themselves to mechanization. Think of almost like an assembly line where there are certain portions of the assembly line that you can mass do something and it's not going to affect the overall quality. But there also are pieces that they need that human touch. And that's how our prospects are. There are certain areas where we can mechanize the conversation, but as we start marching down the pipeline and start building those relationships, the human side, the authenticity has to come out.
The conversation is a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
And when Serious Decisions took a look at this, they found that 3/4 of sales leaders found that their sales team really didn't have the knowledge to have a valuable conversation. So in your opinion, is it impossible for sales to, or for technology to improve sales conversations, or is it really that human element that's required?
Well, I think technology can help us get smarter and get more in-depth information pre-conversation about what our prospects are doing, what they like, how they view information, how they like to hang out on the internet, what kind of movement have they been doing over the course of time, what papers have they written, where do they consume information. All of that technology is going to help us and give us a nice dashboard so that when we do have the conversation, we're quickly able to connect that human side of things, that relationship side. I'll give you a case in point. I was looking up a prospect in San Francisco, and up on my right side of my screen popped that he was interested in smoky coffee flavored beer. And that's a weird combination. So I opened up the conversation with him saying, all right, so tell me about this smoky coffee flavored beer. Where is it brewed? And that was the beginning of a fabulous conversation. Technology helped me see that through the stack and then, the needle in the haystack of all the things that my prospect was doing on the internet. I was able to hone in on the one thing that would start that conversation and continue it. So it's great for that.
Great for serving up the right information when you need it to help you have better conversations or help you connect with somebody, especially on the prospecting side.
Connect and have more quality conversations and let them know that you've researched them. And by me saying that, that was a key word for him. He knew I had looked him up. I had spent time trying to find information about him that we could connect on. Now, granted, it was all served up for me by technology. I just looked my eyes over to the right side of my screen. I didn't go and spend hours researching, but the appearance of that, the perception of that is that I am really interested in who he is, what he likes, what he doesn't like, and I can bring that up in conversation.
Well, this is why I get a special tickle when I get to do webinars or roundtable discussions with you, because I learned so much. So I'm very excited to have you on in October and really help companies that live and die by process, except in sales, help them develop a predictable prospecting process. We're going to be talking about some of the concepts in your book, and we're also going to have a special focus on the do's and don'ts for technology. So I can't thank you enough for sitting down and doing a little pre-show with me today. Tell people about Predictable EDU, because this is like the next big thing for you aside from the book itself.
It is. I had the great fortune of being asked to teach an executive MBA class here in my hometown of Des Moines, Iowa. As I started working on the curriculum for this 12-week course, it occurred to me that in order to engage people who weren't necessarily in sales yet, they weren't responsible for revenue, I had to make this class really engaging and get it to the point where they wanted to do the homework. So I took that curriculum and I worked on it with these folks. It was great. We had a wonderful time. They actually did all the work. And then I thought to myself, wow, I should take this thing and move it over to an online offering, but it's not a do-it-yourself online offering. It's an instructor-assisted, guided course. And that became the Predictable EDU website, which has some complimentary courses that are do-it-yourself, but it's got a certification course where I am leading my students through 12 weeks of everything they need to know about sales process for prospecting. They have to start with 30 records that they work with and take that all the way through each of the modules. So we are actually activating, assembling and activating and even optimizing the pieces that they're learning in class as we go along. It's so rewarding. I love being able to do that because I can reach more people and I could see the impact of what they're learning as they start activating it and assembling it. They are actually generating revenue. They're actually getting opportunities. So it's all good. Really,
Yeah.
really fun.
Well, look, if you're listening to this interview, I've been working with Marylou for years, and she's got an amazing program to help sales teams be more successful and do it more predictably, really maximize their return on effort. And that's a concept that has not left me since my early conversations with Marylou. So
Yeah.
there's a link somewhere around this video, probably below it or embedded in it, to sign up for the webinar. Please do so and expect to participate. This isn't going to be a presentation, hour-long, boring stuff. You're actually going to be able to meet Marylou, bring your challenges to her, and get some advice that otherwise you might be paying for on a different day, not in October. We'll also stick a link to Predictable EDU. So if you're interested and you've got some folks on your team that you think would benefit, you can go ahead and get started. But we've got some special offers coming in the pipeline during the webinar. So see you later. Thanks for playing. And Marylou, really looking forward to sitting down with you again in October.
Yeah, looking forward to it too, Max.
Cheers.